Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. It's episode 831. It's being recorded on July 30, 2025. I can't believe July is almost over. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm still Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I can't believe we're more than halfway through 2025. I'm Brett Van Sproonberg.
And I'm Kent Burgess, and 2025 sucks so far.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you for your positivity. It's going to be a great show.
What a liftoff.
Anything after the summer solstice is just downhill because every day gets a little darker, a little shorter. And it just
like us.
It's terrible for the human psyche. Yeah. So.
Joy. Support the misery.
Yeah, let's move to the Patreon segment. Brett, take it away.
Sure, let's. You know what? I was trolling through the Patreon members earlier this weekend, this evening, and I came across just a few names that I wanted to call out here. Slater P being one of them, A. Edwards being another, and R. McFarland being a third. Jay Fleming, I threw in as a flamboyant fourth. They've all been members since 2016, contributing members since 2016. Can you believe it? I know that I can't.
That's a lot of money.
But it is true. It is true. So if you started now, you could put that many years under your belt soon enough. So start today. Become a patron
as
today.
Compared to me putting that many beers under my belt.
Round of applause.
What we do with your money is our own. You'd find out about it. It's not really a secret, is it?
No.
Now, Josh, you just spoke about things that happen under your belt. We're not going to go into any more detail. But what about things that happen over your belt, specifically in the stomach region? This is the Food with Josh segue, by the way. Take it away.
This is. They had the same special as last week. The old special, as you know, is the wife can't clean her desk. No, that's not the special. No, the special was the Cowboy Joe dog. I can't remember which dog it was. A Cowboy Dog, DAWG. And I didn't feel like another one. So I got something I don't think I've gotten before. And, I had to ask, am I blue? Yes. I blew myself on the blue burger.
Blue as bells.
Definitely going to be a hot take.
Arrested Development reference there.
Yeah. So anyway, the Blue Burger is, of course, a 7-ounce patty, locally sourced. 2 pretty big strips of bacon, which you can barely see under there. They've got their blue crumbles along with mixed in with their sweet balsamic reduction, and then caramelized onions. As you can see, those tots were perfect today. Crispy on the outside, nice and fluffy on the inside. They were great. It's a super rich burger. So, I was able to eat like 7/8 of it, and then I just couldn't anymore. And I left tots behind too. It was too much. It was too rich. And apparently I'm not eating as much as I used to because I didn't even have dinner last night, which is good because I could use to lose. So anyway, that was the Blue Burger. It was pretty tasty, not terribly messy, which, otherwise you kind of looked at that, but it all held together nicely. And I'm happy I experienced it. And one day you should too.
Let's move on to the news portion of our program. And the first story here, it comes from Phoronix, AMD Threadripper 9000. It's out. They tested it under Linux, oddly enough, and they say incredible workstation performance. Are you surprised? I mean, all those lanes.
No, it's like so many cores. So many.
Oh, I feel
that's their
bad.
fast cores.
Because one of the processors they tested it against was the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K.
That was a little mean, but I have a feeling they did that. Like, I have a feeling Xeon's performed worse, and that's why they went with that Ultra 9.
Well, it's not at the bottom of every chart, so that's something. Almost every chart.
Yes, it can build. It can beat a Ryzen
That's,
occasionally.
It's mid
Here we
pack
go.
occasionally.
Here's what I wanted. The geometric mean of all test results, the Core Ultra 9 285K in last place. Up below even the old 3990X Threadripper. And then way up top, the 9980X. It's just, I mean, the score, 225 to 66.78 at the bottom of the chart for the Core Ultra 9. So it's a very, very fast processor, and they also tested it against, several generations of Threadripper. So it's
30% over the previous generation, top of the line 7980X.
Think about it this way. It's more than double the performance of a Ryzen 9 9950X3D.
That's nuts.
It's a lot.
But you pay for it.
Yeah, you pay. And the workstation board they used is not cheap. So, I mean.
Is that an Asus board?
Yeah, it was the Asus Sage.
Sage.
I think I saw the Sage box. Let's scroll down. The Pro WS TRX 50 Sage Wi-Fi workstation motherboard. It's probably more expensive than the processor. But yeah.
Well,
it's out.
I mean, the processor's $5,000.
Oh, okay. So it's not that expensive.
Yeah. I mean, the motherboard's probably, 15-20% of that cost.
Okay.
But I'm so glad they stuck with the T-Rex because it is the best chipset name ever. And don't abandon it until you have to.
Sage is only $930.
Yeah, come on.
That's not bad.
So clean, though.
It is. Look at the...
I mean, an MSI Godlike is what? $1,000?
More than that.
Easy.
Yeah.
On sale.
Plus, this is a workstation board, so hopefully the business is writing that check.
Well, and quad channel mandatory from what I recall as well.
Yeah.
And then writing off the expense. It's fine.
It's a workstation board. It's always a write-off.
I'm compiling. Leave me alone.
Okay, so we just talked about AMD Workstation, which could be at work or at home in great content creator, solution video editing machine. But what about in the server room specifically? EPYC processors, market share. AMD has gone all the way from 2% to 36.5% in the server CPU sector and could overtake Intel. So that's 2% way back in 2017 and middle of this year. They're at 36.5%, according to Passmark data.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because from the stuff that I've seen, I think last quarter, AMD had 50% of the sales, not market share, but 50% of the sales of server market CPUs. So they've done exceptionally well with this generation, and Intel has done exceptionally poorly with their roadmap and execution.
Yeah.
Now, servers don't get upgraded every year. So when you see a sales jump like that, it means one, old forklift upgrades are getting dumped from Intel to something that 10 years ago they would never have even considered. You went in there saying, no, let's go for AMD for the servers.
Oh, hell, 5 years ago.
5 years. Yeah, 5 years you would have been laughed out. 10 years you would be fired. But that was the thing, is it wasn't even a consideration. And so now you've got the old guys actually saying, yeah, you know what? This generation, when we upgrade, yeah, we're going to get an EPYC. But all of the server room build-outs, all of these new AI farms, the LLM farms, the data center farms, they're not getting Xeons. They're too expensive and nowhere near the performance of these things.
I remember back in the day, and I always hate to go back in time, but I often do because, that's just my shtick. But remember running the original Opterons back in 2006 through 2009. And the biggest problem that we had was not great software support. Some things with their built-in chipset just didn't want to work on Windows Server. It wasn't supported well in Linux. Their software support was just not great. And there were issues with some programs running on it that, they were expecting a Xeon or something like that. And it just didn't work. And the amount of work that they've done in between, 2012 when they were just at their absolute lowest and Bulldozer was doing poorly. And that style of Opteron was becoming very, very unpopular. Through about 2019 is just tremendous. I mean, they buckled down. They solved so many problems on the enterprise space, and stuff now just works as well as what Intel was known for ages. So it's not just hardware. They've invested tremendously in software support across the board,
and haven't fired thousands of people recently. Which might
we'll
help.
get into that here soon.
They're a growth company, Jeremy. So they don't really need to. They're
you
actually,
can't just throw good hardware at the enterprise. You're absolutely right. It has to be followed by excellent support.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's firmware from the motherboards and all the, accoutrement chips, that each motherboard has, and make sure that all that software support is set up.
You can't
and
have flaky
correctly.
USB anymore. You just can't do that kind of stuff anymore.
You can't. You can't.
And we need good monitoring software, and we need good, overall system management stuff, and which they didn't have and now do.
Yep.
So Brett,
it's
today,
huge. And go ahead, Sebastian.
I was going to say, Brett, if you had to build up a server today to run something mission critical, would you go Xeon or would you?
No, he's going to get an ARM.
System? Oh,
definitely.
Okay, it could be ARM.
Definitely an AMD.
RISC-V.
It's like I would buy a Mac Studio and turn it into an Apple Xserve.
Yeah.
Of course, Kent does have a point. That RISC-V box. I don't know.
I feel like that's really the future. Is what if we get off of x86? But AMD.
And just let's all get back to Spark, shall we?
Oh, okay.
Funny you mentioned that. Didn't somebody just buy them? Anyway,
Did they?
and just tangent to that, ARM is now going up in percentage marketplace thanks to NVIDIA and their Hopper. So there's a lot of competition in these spaces that, AMD is taking advantage of, ARM is taking advantage of, and Intel is the one who is losing market share hand over fist. And when we get into financials, you will see one number that shocks analysts. Click here to see what it is.
Yes, Josh, Intel financial results. It happened just after our podcast last week, and I just knew you'd be excited to talk about this.
Oh, man. It's kind of grim. I mean, they made $12.9 billion in revenue. AMD is obviously catching up to them. I mean, they still sell a lot of chips. I mean, they've got like 75% of the CPU market still, and that's overall. And probably their strongest point is their mobile stuff. Their mobile stuff still is far outselling what AMD has, even though AMD has made some inroads there. But, they made $12.9 billion, but their gross margin and, stop your grinning and drop your linen, it was 27.5%. This is the absolute lowest I've seen from Intel in a long, long time. They predicated their business upon having margins above 50%. And that was something that they did so they could, afford the absolute best process technology, hire the best people to do that, and to, massively integrate the process people, the CPU people, so they could consistently build the best processors around. And then around 2014, it started to show some cracks. And that's when they had some very bad luck and some very bad decisions on their process technology. And they've been suffering ever since. So they had a net loss of a whopping $2.9 billion, according to GAAP. That number is less than that for, non-GAAP, but still $2.9 billion that they had kind of eat. It was not a great quarter for them. And next quarter, they expect to go anywhere from like 12.6 to 13.6 billion, somewhere in there. They don't know for sure. That's a pretty wide target to be able to do. And also, in the past year, they've let around 25% of their employees go. So 1 out of 4 people in the past year who used to work at Intel no longer do. And as I said in my tweet, are we still calling it tweet? Because I don't know what the hell it's called. X something.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
Tweet.
We know a couple of people, more than a few, who have been let go from Intel for multiple reasons. And a lot of this is just stemming from how weak they are in terms of their products, especially at the high end. Even though, mobile is still doing well, they're in a rock and a hard place, obviously. There are a lot of people that think that ARC is going to get cut sooner as opposed to later. And my opinion there is that they can't afford to do that. If they want to compete in this new AI data center landscape, they need that technology that GPUs are providing. And if they get rid of that, what are they going to do? Just massive amounts of CPUs that may not do the work as well. New vector extension units and matrix multiplication, added on to x86. It's just not. It's not working out. They need,
They're going to sell themselves to Lenovo.
Oh, geez, wow, wouldn't that be something? But yeah, it was a rough quarter, and next quarter doesn't look a whole lot better. They've lost a lot of share in the data center and client computing group. Their foundry stuff is where things are getting interesting. Their 18F is still going to be available, but they're talking about 14 nanometer. If they do not get customers signing on for it, they will not develop it.
You mean 14A? 14A?
There's a story
14A,
coming up about this.
Yeah. So I figure we might as well talk about it now because it's all part of that.
It's all part of that package.
I think 18F is their foundry that they're offering to third-party peoples. And then, 14A is the next generation one that they're working on. But the new CEO said, if we don't have people signing on, who knows when we're going to finish developing it, and we're going to take funds away and do it to others. And so this is putting TSMC really in the catbird seat because they're going to be the only one to do these advanced process nodes. I mean, Samsung's trying to. Global Foundry is still hanging around. They do a lot of mixed RF and analog and some of that stuff. I mean, they have their niche, but they're not cutting edge. Who knows that maybe if they do solidify their stuff, they'll work on more cutting edge. I don't know, but it's grim. It's kind of grim for Intel. I mean, they still have a lot of market share. They still sell a lot of chips. They still have all of their big customers, and they still can provide as many chips really as you want as compared to AMD, which, could be in theory a little bit more constrained with longer term orders. So they're hurting, and the hurting's not going to stop, and they're hoping for some kind of turnaround. But they went from a company of 100,000 plus people down to about 78,000, and their foundry services are not doing fantastic. I don't know why. I don't know if it's in terms of the software that they're providing, the libraries, the engineering support, because TSMC have dedicated engineers for each company that they work with to make sure that their products come out as good as they possibly can. And when Intel is juggling their own stuff with their process engineers with CPUs and whatever, you really got to question, are they going to give that same kind of support that TSMC gives to their customers? Because there's no conflict of interest with TSMC. They want to sell wafers. Intel, they wants to sell wafers, but the wafers that they can't put their own products on. Does that make sense?
It does, and honestly,
So
if they can pull it off, it's still money, but it's not Intel.
It's a lot of juggling going on.
Yeah.
And they no longer have the war chest of funds. I mean, back when things were good, they were doing the regular kind of, in my opinion, stupid shareholder stuff of, hey, we're going to buy back shares, and the value of each share is going to go up. So all the shareholders, are actually earn something more. And instead of investing that money into personnel, foundries, and products, it's just a waste because the money then kind of goes nowhere. And when you lose share price, the money disappears and never comes back again. So you don't have anything to really show for it. So I hate buybacks. I understand why they do it. But I think if you're running a business, NVIDIA does buybacks, but then again, they're making insane amount of money and everybody's happy. And all of our retirements are based, I'm pretty sure, on NVIDIA shares. So what do you guys think? Do you think Intel's doomed? Do you think that they're going to turn things around? They're still a major force. They're still making $13 billion a year in revenue and selling a lot of CPUs. But
dinosaurs don't die quickly. They're so big and sometimes have multiple brains. So parts of it will completely die. It's going to take a while.
Government bailout as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key because that's the only future for them. The only reason that they have any relevance at all anymore as a foundry is because they're here. So, for us here in the U.S.
Or Germany or Ireland or in many of the other places that are like, hey, this is a bunch of people. Well, strangely, it's only 25% as many as were employed before, but there's still some people employed there. And we don't want to watch it implode because what are we going to do with a foundry? I can't imagine that is inexpensive to tear down. I can't imagine that you're going to have to decontaminate that ground whatsoever to be able to do anything else with it. So it's sort of like, you put in an in-ground pool and you love it until you realize how much it costs to maintain. And then you ask how much it costs to take out.
Right. It's just almost as expensive as putting it in. Yeah.
So now you're kind of stuck with it. So
nature will take it back. Just abandon it.
Yes.
YouTubers will go and make videos like, this used to be the Intel foundry.
It's going to be on an abandoned place video.
Mm-hmm.
And they canceled the Polish foundry and the German one, and they put Ohio on indefinite hold. So,
whoa.
Is it too early to say
right now?
Is it too early to say it's over? It was a good run. How sad for Intel, looking back historically.
Yeah.
They were forced by IBM to partner with AMD to begin with. When AMD was just this little company, Advanced Micro Devices in Sunnyvale, and because they had to have a second source. IBM said, we're not going to count on just you. You need a second source. They had to license the 8088, or was it the 8086?
8086.
AMD. And then they didn't...
And that didn't spawn a bunch of court battles later on at all.
No, because, of course, they kept producing chips into the 286 era, so Intel decided they were going to sole source the 386. They weren't going to allow AMD to have that design.
Yep.
AMD had to reverse engineer that, and it took them a long time to get one to market. But here we are, 2025.
Well, it was handy of
AMD
Intel to follow up with a really crappy 486.
Well, they sat and they rested on their laurels with quad-core processors for the consumer market for I don't know how many generations.
A decade at least.
Yeah.
At least when they could have gone up. They took that time, and instead of spending it on development, they bought back stock, and just like you said, they didn't spend it on research and development. And then when AMD finally came up with something, a design that was going to be competitive, they didn't have an answer. And in this business, you've got to be developing for years ahead, and they didn't. They thought they were going to be on top and unstoppable, and AMD was never going to be able to compete. And that's turned out to be untrue. And now they've been caught with their pants down, so to speak, and they're paying the price for it. And it's a shame, because we don't need AMD to be in the same situation that Intel was in 10 years ago either.
Don't worry, they've got NVIDIA to keep them scared.
Well, that's true. Of course, I'm
also
wondering
AMD
now.
almost had to shut their doors.
Yeah.
They didn't have the overhead that Intel had. I mean, they got rid of their foundries. They were able to streamline their business. And from 2012 to 2017, I mean, things were grim. It was, there were quarters under $1 billion. It was grim, but they, one really good product or several executions of that product base over several years can totally turn things around. So, I'm not counting Intel out. They could do some really interesting things in their graphics. And I mean, the graphics themselves won't save them, but if they're able to adequately package those into, like their Ponte Vecchio, and I can't remember all of the code names for the Gaudi stuff, and have a really solid implementation with excellent software and compiler support, they could start taking market share. I mean, Ryan Shroud, who's to answer the question, he's no longer at Intel. He's got a testing group, and they just recently released their Gaudi 3 benchmarks, and it's a more cost-effective solution in inference and some of these other workloads than what NVIDIA offers. So, it offers you 1.6 times the performance per price of each unit. So they have avenues where they could expand and become successful in, but their bread and butter is hurting a lot, especially Xeon side, where that used to be high margin, really solid numbers, quarter in, quarter out, and now it is lower margin and a lot of instability.
You remember back in the 14 nanometer plus era, when they were coming up with more these virtual multitasking cores, and that all went aside. They weren't quite ready for the big little paradigm shift, but then they got hit with Spectre and Meltdown, and that really hurt their performance. And they were never able to make the transition on their foundry, the 14 nanometer plus problem, the Spectre and Meltdown issue, which really hurt that architectural design. And they weren't ready to move to their big little core. What really wasn't really ready was the operating systems weren't ready to partition their processing to really well support that. And all of that taken together, almost in this very same set of months or years, it was very close. Yeah, really, really hurt them.
Serves them right for smirking at AMD with Art Rowhammer. No, we don't have to worry about that. Of course, now everyone
like everything, it's all the hackers' fault.
Yeah,
sure. Oh no, I'm blaming the miners. Somehow this is the Bitcoin miners' fault. I'm sure of it.
Yes, I blame AI.
I thought you meant people under 18.
Well,
which is who
everyone's probably mining Bitcoin. Yeah.
No one has said the word blockchain yet, so let's just get that out of the way.
Let's move on. Okay, next story.
No, moved on from that.
Speaking of AI, or possibly Microsoft's actual CEO, Satya Nadella, mixed messaging from Microsoft, another company that's, letting lots of people go, probably because they can just replace them with some kind of LLM. There have been 15,000 people let go this year at Microsoft. It's only 4% of their workforce. How many people work at Microsoft? But
lots.
The quote is, our overall headcount is relatively unchanged, yet at the same time, we've undergone layoffs. What does that mean? Does that mean they're rapidly hiring while letting people go? Or
no, they're not hiring.
They have heads in jars.
Destroyed. their quality control. Their Q&A group has been, and I think that has been one of the first things that's been taken over by a lot of AI stuff. So,
and it goes on to say that this is the enigma of success in an industry that has no franchise value. This is the definition of a valueless sentence. This makes no sense at all.
He does use the qualifier relatively. Our overall headcount is relatively unchanged. Relative to what? To all of them being
He's
fired?
still there, so therefore there's still one head.
Yeah,
in the
there's
room.
still people in the building, I think. I saw somebody this morning. I have my assistant, of course, my whole team of assistants. But
so it's just bizarre. And but the thing is that if you count each new AI server that you fire up as a head, well, then maybe the head count hasn't changed because
no, it's got to be more than just one head, Jeremy, or it's not worth it. It's got to be one new server replaces 100 employees.
And so essentially, the Register did a little bit of math and said at the start of the year, Microsoft was planning on spending $80 billion in capex on AI infrastructure. That's the equivalent of just over 500,000 employees, which is more than twice of what is still employed at Microsoft right now. And that's if you gave them $150K each. So they're dumping this immense amount of cash into AI while carving the workforce in, like, not as quite as bad as Intel, but definitely taking a huge chunk. And the thing is that the readings are not improving morale at this point because the guy is like, yeah, but they might just replace me with a large language model tomorrow and I'm gone. So yeah, it's tone deaf to the absolute extreme that this is the employee memo that Satya sent out. It's like, don't worry, we're firing a bunch of you, but it's still just like it was. There's still a bunch of you there. It's fine.
Don't worry, we're firing you, a lot of your friends, and possibly you too. But don't worry, Microsoft will be okay. I don't want you to exit that door thinking that we're not going to be successful because we absolutely are. We're saving so much money by firing you guys. And think really if your day is mostly just sitting through Teams meetings, you can have an AI do that. It's fine. Like all the different AI programs can just watch boring, PowerPoint presentations all day in a conference room somewhere and write notes about it. In fact, transcribe every word.
Almost. You just come back and you just hit the summarize button at the end of the day, and then you're totally fine.
And then the AIs, if they ask any kind of pertinent question, then the other AI can respond with, "Oh, let me circle back to you on that one," and then never do.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the benefit of that is for Microsoft is that in order to do that, you got to buy the Teams Plus, which is not included in an E3 subscription. You have to actually pay extra every month. So it's win-win.
By the way, if you're in the market for a graphics card and you want NVIDIA and you're looking at the prices that are out there right now, you're like, yeah, it's a little more than I want to spend. How about a blast from the past? How about re-releasing a card from 2022? Yes, the RTX 3050.
It could be back.
The card of your dreams, and possibly better than ever. At this article at PC Gamer says that it could be the most powerful 3050 we've ever seen.
So it aged well over the past 3 bloody years?
I have no idea. Why 3050? The 5050 is new. The 5050 is exciting. I'm sure it has their multi-frame generation capability.
You're half right.
This is the RTX 3050A that makes it so much better.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what
maybe they still have a bunch of 8106. It's just that it's coming back.
Okay, here's a story at Tom's Hardware. It's a little bit more to the point. GeForce RTX 3050A jumps from Ampere to Ada Lovelace. Why keep the name?
Really.
Laptop GPU.
So we can't scream and yell about a rebadge.
Okay.
Because technically they didn't change the name. It's just that
it's Ada.
When you're shopping, you want that Ada version. Because it's just a wee bit better.
They're also bringing back the lead solder balls.
Oh, really?
For the 2022 experience or before that.
Oh,
so the low lead solder balls.
I love them salty chocolate solder balls.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have lead in your solder. It just doesn't flow properly without it.
It doesn't
Who
taste right
hasn't
either.
reflowed a card in their oven? I mean,
Hey, who hasn't put a nickel
it does
against
work.
the GPU and then shoved the iBook case back on, hoping that the pressure from the nickel would keep it from freezing? Not that I'm speaking from experience. That was a weird story. Moving on.
It gets weirder.
Here comes
wait.
PCI Express Gen 6 with the Micron 9650. Now, we knew this was going to happen. Every time PCI SIG ratifies some new standard, you know that the upcoming CES will have some kind of ridiculous prototype SSD that pushes throughput to heretofore unseen levels. And I'm assuming this Micron 9650 is just insane.
I mean, is 28 gigabits enough for your reads?
I guess. I mean, is that...
Or is that a little too slow?
Can I do that at QD1?
No, this is QD64 because these are press slides and they don't really want to tell you exactly what's going on.
There's some fine print we might be able to read. Oh, for details C, and there's a link.
Yeah. But to be fair, these are their data center ones. Because, as we've said, PCIe 4 versus PCIe 5 SSDs, you're not going to notice a difference in most of what you do. Gen 6 is going to be the same. It's not going to affect your boot time. It's not going to change your save game load time. It will shave a couple of femtoseconds off. And for that, you get to spend, hundreds of dollars. One of the nifty things I thought about it was that they're getting pretty big. 30 terabyte of Gen 6 is going to be nasty. And guess what? They're designed with liquid cooling in mind.
Oh boy. Okay.
Can't possibly imagine
perfect.
why. Perfect.
What the power draw on this thing is?
It's going to be impressive because, again, liquid cooling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so those are the ions, the super fast ones. The 9650, the 6600s are the big ones. So they just start at 30 terabytes and go up to 122, and they're a mere 14 gigs a second. It's just pathetic, really, when you think about it. And the writes are like 3 gigs per second because, I mean, hey, it's specifically designed as a big data center storage drive. For the rest of us, it's the 7600 Pro and the Max, which are their new PCIe 5.0s, 2 terabyte to 14 terabyte, and that's read speed over longevity. These are your gaming drives. These will be the ones you'll be a little more interested in when we finally see them. But it's going to be a little while. Oh, excuse me. So this is just the announcement, and CES, well, still not long enough away. It's still a ways away.
Yeah. By the way, Q depth 128
Oh, okay. I thought
for
that was
those
64,
test results. I'm looking more closely at this. It was actually on the slide. I should have just read it. It talks about power draw too.
Oh, what is the power draw?
25 watts.
Oh, 25 watt.
Oh,
It's not that bad.
4
just-
lanes of Gen 6. Huh.
Yes.
5 times what your SSD is probably using right now.
That'll be toasty.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon will like it.
Well, they'll sell you one. Bragging rights only.
Oh, no, I
Can't
meant
wait
You have to
to
have
see the
the full
you're buying
tower.
it from a server
Air
running one
cooler.
of those, or Azure, or data center stuff.
I
Oh,
can't
and yes,
wait to
it
see
is.
the new line of AIOs specifically for your Gen 6 SSD.
Because these are designed for AI, as you just mentioned. Yes,
Of course. Of course.
just like everything.
Now, here's a blast from the past. Samsung Odyssey 3D G90XF. It's a brand new 3D monitor in 2025, but it's glasses free 3D.
It
Apparently.
is.
What are they doing?
Really?
So remember back in the day when we had NVIDIA 3D Vision with the active glasses, and then some people came out with the lenticular displays where you could use passive glasses, and there was just sort of a slightly different angle for the left eye versus the right eye. tricks your brain into seeing 3D because, amazingly enough, it's really easy to trick the human eye into a lot of things. Like, for instance, a whole bunch of still images turning into smooth motion. But anyways, I digress. So what they've done is the same sort of lenticular lens thing, but there is essentially a face tracking camera on the very top, and underneath are two IR eye tracking cameras. So those two cameras will keep track of exactly where your eyes are looking on the screen, so that lenticular sort of prism on the panel itself can slightly offset those 2 pixels and fool you into thinking that we're worth $5. Thank you, Spencer Walker 21.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, apparently when last time you were watching us, we might have been talking about 3D vision, because it was about that long ago. So they gave it a shot. First Berserker Kazan was like one of the games that's been optimized for this, but because of the way they did it, apparently you don't need to redo your game engine. Anything can be made 3D with this to a certain degree. Some of them might make you a wee bit nauseous, or at least not drag you in the way that I think they're hoping that they will. So it is kind of nice that you don't have to completely redo it. You can try PC Perspective in 3D, apparently, and it will give it a shot if you're willing to drop $2,000 on this monitor. It's 27-inch 4K IPS with refresh up to 165, but because it's 3D, it now is 2K plus. It seems like yet another problem or solution in search of a problem.
How bad do you miss the Nintendo 3DS?
I don't.
So if you do, and you want that lenticular 3D action in your life again, check it out. By the way,
and it's also really good for getting rid of shoulder surfers, because I guarantee you, anyone looking over your shoulder
yes,
at the screen is not going to be happy.
Yeah. By the way, Windows 10 is 10. Does that make you feel old? 10 years ago, we started cursing that new operating system that Microsoft was forcing us to use. Actually, no, people
Windows
embraced
7
it. They
was
loved
just,
it.
No, we were
just fine.
Because they were so sick of the tiles and not having a proper start menu without using third-party tools. And Microsoft heard you. They heard you. They brought it all back. And that was 10 years ago.
And that was also the last we saw of the mobile OS, Sebastian.
Don't
Sorry
remind
about that.
me. That's...
I was reminded of 2 hilarious things about this, though. One of which was that was the arrival of DX12.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, and I looked, and I could not find any of the stupid videos from people claiming to have gotten an early version of DX12, and they're showing a game, and it's like they just cranked the brightness up to the point where it sort of looks like there's reflections, but there isn't. So apparently those videos have all died over the years. But the other amusing thing was that it took less than 3 years for Windows 10 to take over Windows 7's spot as having over 50% of the market share of Microsoft machines. No, it was just like 2 years and 8 months or so. Depending on which stat counter you look at, either Windows 11 did that to Windows 10 this month, or it will probably do it next month, which is 3 years and about 9 months.
Barely.
Yeah. And we're not talking about, because when Windows 10 started to take off, the tail went up. This one, no, it's like a very reluctant drop of Windows 10 machines. Welcome to Insecurity Corner, your weekly reason to drink.
In our first story, we were just talking about Windows 10 turning 10. Windows 11, Jeremy asks, is Microsoft pushing Windows 11 into malware territory now? I don't know if you've heard about the latest in Copilot technology, but it's pretty intrusive.
You don't mean Copilot Vision.
Oh, I
the
do.
One that ensures that it uploads everything you do to Microsoft. But don't worry, they're totally not going to be training any AIs on it, and they're totally not going to be holding on to it forever. No, not us. Besides, we fired the guy who did that, so there you go. We've replaced him with an AI that monitors the AI, and that never turns out poorly whatsoever.
So you thought
But
recall
no,
was bad. Vision.
Yeah.
It sends all of your captures to Microsoft. What does it do exactly? Let's see. So recall stored everything locally, it said.
Yes.
Copilot Vision does not. It sends everything to Microsoft.
Well, so they need a deeper understanding of your goals and the ability to provide clear step-by-step guidance to help you accomplish them. And how could they do that if all of your actions were stored locally and not shared with them to totally not train the LLM to provide you step-by-step guidance to... Wait a second here. The other lovely thing about it is that it will change settings on your behalf because it knows that that's the way that the setting should be. And that's exactly what I want, is my computer fighting me over, no, this is the preferred setting, you should have it. Yeah, and that's why I disabled it, because it's wrong and I hate it. Well, but do you? Because I've just enabled it again. Okay, well, I disabled your ability to re-enable. Oh, well, I just re-enabled my ability, and it will become a giant fight for anyone. I can sort of see someone yelling at their computer and saying, hey, my screen doesn't look right. Oh, well, what resolution would you like it at? It's not New Year's. What are you talking about? Like, I don't even see how it's going to help the average user that's just not sure why their screen looks kind of stretched. Maybe it will figure something out and, query the monitor, assuming you bought an adapter that isn't going to block that, and put the resolution to the right thing. But honestly, this is not what I want from my operating system. I would, if I needed it, pay extra to have something, help me use it, like tech support. I don't know, something weird like that. But yeah, it's hit the point where, if a vanilla install in Windows 11, if you accidentally move your mouse to the bottom right, your screen disappears in this huge tiled monstrosity of random advertisements and such. They're pushing advertisements to your lock screen if you don't disable it. They've turned the search function into a worse than Bing web search as opposed to searching your local machine. By default, if you accidentally move a window up towards the top, it's like, oh, okay, you wanted to rearrange your screen into an entire different order, or hey, we're just going to create a second virtual desktop for you for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So even the basic functions have gotten to the point where they're incredibly intrusive. They are doing behavior you do not want, and they are exfiltrating data. Where is the fine line between malware and an operating system now?
It's there to serve ads and collect your data. And back in the early days of the internet, we got mad at things like that, like Bonzi Buddy. It's like, oh, Bonzi Buddy's bad.
That's why I slapped the monkey.
But now it's, well, look, this is we have to come up with all these reasons why this is great for users, because ultimately it's just great for Microsoft. It's creating new business opportunities for them.
It's great for Satya, the one remaining employee at Microsoft next year.
Yeah. The 90% of people who use Windows because they use Windows, they're going to keep using Windows.
The thing is that this is interfering with enterprise. And now enterprise actually has to devote man hours to disabling a bunch of this
and they
stuff.
will, because they're not going to switch to a different operating system.
Well, I don't want to give a C-level a Linux box. That's just horrific. Like,
I know those laptops that every corporate employee takes home, they've got to have Windows. They've got to have those forced updates, and they got to be locked down.
Office,
and then they'll still click on that one email attachment and just ransomware attack on the whole company.
Now onto IoT, or as I prefer to refer to it, iOS.
Now, this is not technically a security story, but I think it is an insecurity story, because if you buy into connected devices, whether it's light bulbs or doorbells or dog tags or whatever, you have to know there's a time limit attached to these things. And then companies shut it down. We talked about, I think it was Logitech or Belkin or somebody last week, shutting some stuff down, and it's just trash. Acquisition. sends thousands of Whistle pet trackers to the IoT graveyard. Whistle
This
pet
is a bit
monitors.
more surprising, though, through an acquisition. Usually you see the stuff maybe gets old, or a company kind of like stops supporting devices and they move in a different direction.
Wasn't there like a lifetime VPN one we were talking about a couple of weeks ago where they were acquired,
right.
and that was the lifetime of the company, not your lifetime.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You're right. Whistle, they were bought out by Tractive, which is a competitor of theirs, and Tractive is just shutting it down.
Yeah.
So Tractive wanted a foothold into the U.S., so they bought Whistle, which was a U.S.-based company, for essentially doing the same thing. And it's a pet monitoring, tracking. They track the health of pets, scratching, eating, running, resting heart rates, and all that. Some of the Tractive hardware has additional features. Some of the Whistle hardware has some additional features. People bought into the Whistle hardware somewhere between like $50 and like $150 a pop for these devices, and they are just essentially going to be bricked coming like within a couple months or a month or something like this. Tractive is maybe going to incorporate some of the Whistle technology into some of their gear, but they're not supporting it simply because they said it's just too difficult for us to run two completely separate ecosystems. They're just not going to do it. What a surprise. So this is underhanded coming from the way of via an acquisition this time around.
Brett, this reminds me of another acquisition and some underhanded stuff because of refusal to support a platform. Remember Dark Sky? And in 2020, a company called Apple bought Dark Sky.
I love Dark Skies.
And they
bastards ruined my weather
just
forecast.
killed it. Sorry, Android users, the best weather app, gone. Because we're just going to integrate stuff into our iPhone weather app.
You know, I do like the iPhone weather app nowadays.
It's much better
probably
because they bought Dark Sky.
Yeah.
Dark Skies
but then they made it
was
worse.
really great. It's not quite as nice as Dark Skies was. I do struggle a little bit with some aspects that I found much easier in Dark Skies than the Apple weather app. But yeah, point taken. Android users suffered after missing out on Dark Skies after that.
Windy is also bad on Android, but it's not the same.
It's not the same as bricking a device, a physical device that you expected to have a longer lifespan than maybe just like last month. You may have just bought something for $100.
Hey,
well, what instead of just bricking it? What if I held it for ransom?
Yes.
Oh,
this is great.
Let's move on.
This would die unless you give me some money. In which case, you can use it again for a little bit.
And somehow this is even worse.
Because they didn't just kill it. No, they are holding it for ransom. Shame if something happened to your smart hub.
So
why don't you just, give us a little bit of that backsheesh here, and it'll keep working all right.
This is future home.
They killed it.
Yeah,
they killed it. They gutted it, and then they wore its skin. It's wore its hide like a second skin. So
it's not quite that bad. They actually, what happened was Future Home, a maker of smart home devices, sold smart thermostats, smart lighting, smart carbon monoxide alarms, fire alarms, et cetera, management. And they gave an application for Android or Apple devices, whatever. And you bought and you just one-time payment and you set them up and you just used them. And as far as I know, life was good. People were enjoying this. And now they have looked back and, we're just not making enough money off of people who've bought our stuff just once. What can we do? Oh, I know. Who's pioneered this? Oh, Adobe. Adobe pioneered this. So following in Adobe's footsteps, they said, you know what? You can have that piece of equipment or software, in Adobe's case, that you know and loved and has all the same features that you continue to want to use. You can pay for it to continue to enjoy that level of performance, or the free version is going to be sort of very detuned. It's going to be very defeatured. You can still use them, but they're just not going to do the same things they used to do for you.
One
holding it for
difference
ransom.
is Adobe did not go bankrupt because this company went bankrupt, and it's the new incarnation of the company that's now saying, "Oh, you got to pay.
Yeah, pay up
use those devices."
Hey, Libra will never do that to you.
That's the Libra promise.
So now this company's going bankrupt to no one's surprise.
So from
I have a
Blinking
fear
Computer-
that Plex I have a fear that Plex one day will
No.
Yes.
do
Absolutely.
that. And
Yes.
oh no, your lifetime
No.
subscription was with the old company.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the Super Ultra Deluxe Executive Edition.
I did buy the lifetime subscription on it.
And for the
it's
lifetime of that
paid for
subscription,
itself.
you'll have it too.
No, they
Yeah.
gave us a press version of it ages back that we were supposed to do a review of.
Hmm.
Sorry about that, Plex. It's great.
Well,
I
we
love
did
it.
a Plex server story a while back, 10 years ago, whatever it was.
That's about when it happened. So yeah.
All right. Next, Microsoft will stop supporting Windows 11 22H2 in October. Now, it's not just the whole Windows 10 is going away. You have to pay if you want to keep using Windows 10 or use Bing or whatever it is. No, not even 22H2. If you're on Windows 11, you've got to be on the latest build, or you're going to be
you've got to
SOL
upgrade to
sooner
the
or later.
latest and youngest, cutest build of Windows 11 constantly, or they're just going to leave you behind.
I feel like with Windows 11, it's just very fickle. You can't build a machine. I mean, you can if you want to, but building a machine where it's just stable, everything works, you're on specific driver versions, you're in a specific build, that doesn't really happen. Because unless you know how to protect yourself, it's going to be constantly updating itself and getting you into this position where you're on new feature updates and builds that can break compatibility with stuff you had working previously, or change functionality, or add more AI bloatware.
But if you do that for too long, they will cut off updates altogether.
Which actually sounds preferable to me, but
It is up until you get hammered. But yeah, there is no Windows long-term service branch. It's not a thing anymore. Not even server is safe at this point.
yet we still use Windows.
Long live Windows 2012 R2.
Fair.
That's a solid operating system. From Ars Technica, flaw in Gemini CLI coding tool could allow hackers to run nasty commands.
It is a hilarious congruence of every company needs LLM programmers and AI programmers.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Every company that hires them finds out that because there are constant upgrades and packages and stuff that need to be added, it's convenient to give these new programmers local admin access to their machines so that they can.
Would you say it gives good vibe?
Oh, it does indeed. Nice.
It's a good vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now these people are installing all sorts of things, and because they are under pressure to somehow make money from AI, which no one has done except for hardware manufacturers, they are under a lot of pressure, and hackers have figured this out and are now exploiting the coding tools that these companies are desperately hiring programmers for and giving them all the keys of the kingdom just because, hey, just go and do it.
The clever bit here is the programmers are asking Gemini to design a bit of code for them. So what the attackers have done is they have crafted a code package, a malicious code package that fits the description of what a number of programmers are asking for.
Yeah.
So they were able to profile typical asks of programmers, getting in their vibe, as it were, getting in their vibe and crafting a malicious package such that when they asked for this code package or asked for this code to be developed, Gemini was able to go fetch it, go, here's one that fits exactly what you need. And it was a malicious code package.
And since you granted them admin access, the part where they'd just be running it inside the VM and it wouldn't hurt anything.
Whitelisted.
Yeah, no, sorry. That's not there. There is someone poked a hole in your protector. And it's just going everywhere now. Yes. And we saw it coming. I think we've mentioned this, haven't seen an actual exploit in the wild, but both Brett and I, I'm sure, have mentioned this over the years that this is coming. It's going to happen.
Clever.
And when it does, it's going to spread like wildfire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because they're going to download code to try and fix it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, I did a horrible thing. Gemini, how do I fix it? Oh, here's a bunch of code that'll totally
Oh, perfect.
fix it.
Exactly. This is the Stack Exchange cut and paste on steroids.
Yes. Oh God, it's so bad.
The consequences are dire. The phone call coming from inside the house. Get out, get out.
Yes, the apocalypse, the one that actually matters. You thought Y2K was a problem. No, we got a bunch of COBOL and Fortran programmers to add an extra 2 digits to the date.
Just in time.
Unfortunately, for no real good reason, but there are some good stories, there was a date picked for the very beginning 0 of Unix. And it's going to roll over. And it's going to cause a lot of fun things and a lot of devices and apps that people have totally forgotten about because that's just a library that we load. It's fine. The fact that the one person who's supported it died in the 90s, and it's never been updated since, and it's going to take out your entire software stack. Yeah, don't worry about the apocalypse at all.
Yeah, XKCD's got some great meme bait on this particular aspect of this holding up the world, essentially. So on January 19th at 2038 at 3:14:07 UTC, the signed 32-bit integer that keeps track of seconds since the Unix epoch rolls over to a negative number, essentially, because it's a signed 32-bit. Now, most Linux and Unix derivatives have since moved to a more sensible signed 64-bit number, which is very, very far in the future. Some installations have actually chosen to pick some crazy algorithms and puts it out, in some enormously far, 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 far away number or year, when the heat death of the universe kind of thing. The likelihood of this happening in mass is small, but it is still likely that there could be some software systems that may not fully understand this date concept, and they maybe have locked into this signed 32-bit integer way of keeping track of time.
Yeah.
So it's not just the hardware, or the operating system, I should say, but there could be applications that might have a problem, and there could be very, very old hardware, as Jeremy was just saying.
Hey, I had problems with the date concept about 30 years ago, but I turned out okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's the XKCD graphic. They actually posted it in the public channel in the Discord.
Yeah, I had to dig it up because it's sadly accurate.
Yeah, that is the one. That is exactly the graphic. So yeah, and things that are potentially out within that time frame, like I just said, a 30-year mortgage is already potentially hitting this date.
But I like your optimism that will last that long.
I think it'll be. Oh, that's true. It might not be a problem at all. Forget I said anything.
Yeah.
That is the graphic. Huge amounts of modern digital infrastructure built upon. Half of it being held up by some project a random person in Nebraska has been thanklessly maintaining since 2003. And as Jeremy implies, perhaps has passed away.
Right. Yeah. And nobody has any idea.
No, that it's even there.
Yeah, libcurl.
All right.
Anyways, that's the end of the depressing part. I believe.
On that uplifting note, let's have gaming quick hits. And of course, we have to talk about Battlefield 6. We haven't done that yet this week.
Yeah, so again, back to the depressing.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
So what they did was show a bunch of pre-rendered stuff from the single-player campaign that doesn't exist yet, because apparently it's been delayed a huge amount.
Well, it's all about multiplayer now, Jeremy.
Oh, we won't find that out until tomorrow, because tomorrow is when we get to see the multiplayer reveal. But, I mean, it sure looks pretty. You have to admit that the Frostbite engine was getting a little bit long in the teeth and seems to have picked up a bit, at least the pre-rendered scenes have.
Yeah.
Bite your tongue. Have you looked at BF3 on a modern computer? Still looks dang good. How about
does.
Battlefront 2? Battlefront 2 on Frostbite?
No, I haven't fired that up in Dog's Age.
Stunning.
In a related story, aging and how it affects your vision. We'll talk about that.
Oh,
Josh next. You know, the original Tomb Raider, I was looking at that the other day. Wow, stunning. Looks lifelike.
Absolutely. The alpha textures were absolutely amazing. That bilinear filtering.
You can't tell me that first generation Voodoo 3D is not better than anything we have today.
Anything. Except for that whole triangle setup thing on board. But never mind that.
Oh, no. Okay. This is a dangerous topic. I don't know how many of our listeners are aware of Roblox, which is basically, I don't want to say anything that's going to get people too angry with me, but it's a cesspool. It's where the degenerates like to hang out and pose as children and try to get your child's information.
And actual children.
Are you talking about dating or Roblox?
Both, because Roblox
okay.
CEO has suggested adding dating options to the game. They know what it's really for. So why not make it official?
I mean, if someone wants to date their Roblox, why should we judge them?
40% of the player base are minors, and 60% are adults posing as minors.
Oh, that's not good. That's
it's just not good. But they do ID age verification, right? I mean that.
That
works.
They were saying that they were working hard at
just like the T app.
Right. Yeah. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
It's not just
VPN.
it's not just dating, Sebastian. It's dating simulation within the system.
Of course.
Oh my!
It's Second
God,
Life.
that is.
It is Second Life for and if for children partially. 40% of at least 40%.
Are we allowed to mention the flying genitalia that kind of ruined Second Life, or is that not PG?
This just seems like
I hope that they're using this as a fly trap for predators, and that it's actually only 20% minors, 20% FBI, and MI5 and other agents acting as minors, and 60% that are about to get arrested. Because I'm sorry, that's still just...
Well, there have been a variety of Roblox players arrested for
good,
grooming
because
and other
what the
offenses
hell?
against minors.
How does that go? We're proud to introduce the Pain Nexus based upon the book. Do not ever build the Pain Nexus.
Yeah, pretty much right there, Josh.
Yeah.
When I'm seeing articles, it was a couple weeks ago when they were the thing about the enhanced age verification was coming out. Like Roblox knows they have a pedophilia problem, so they're working hard at age verification.
What?
And now, like a week or two later, the headlines are: Roblox CEO is considering adding dating to the game. Like, hey, you've solved it. You've solved all the problems. So now it's time to just put dating in the game. The game for
Is
kids.
his name on the list too?
Now that we've made it safe,
Yeah.
let's
It's safe. It's safe. AI powered age verification. Let's go. No
it's
one has
not
ever
like
defeated that before.
the EU just put in the age verification on certain websites, and downloads of VPNs have gone up 1,800% over there.
Mhm. That'll be the new. I
can't imagine why.
those. Man, VPN companies are going to make so much money off of that.
Yeah.
Last gaming quick hit. After 18 years, a surprise Half-Life 2 update makes it once again possible to beat a honking train on Highway 17, says Rock, Paper, Shotgun.
And you're
I think
missing
we
Brett's wonderful reference in the notes.
I think we should also recognize the fact that who's working on this? There's like one guy. Imagine there's one guy left still updating a 20-year-old game. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah,
maybe
because
this
he's got
is
a
the stand-in
train
for
hat
that guy.
fetish. I'm sure that's the guy.
I'm sure this is him.
Who, Santa?
Anyway, there's actually a couple
If you
things.
zoom
that
and
did get
enhance, there's something rude wearing a rude hat in the reflection
In
of
his
those
ref-
glasses.
in his reflection. It's not necessary. It's okay.
Enhance.
Enhance.
I forgot to
Anyway,
enhance.
there's a patch in here that actually makes it possible to beat the oncoming train and the buggy again. Newer players probably thought you only had to back up. You used to be able to drive forward and beat the train, but there are a couple other things that were fixed, like being able to some wall occlusion things and some other level. But imagine being the guy still patching Half-Life 2. It might be a cool job. It might be boring. Not sure which, but it's somebody's job, and they're
I
still
don't think
doing
they're
it.
getting paid for it.
Maybe not.
I don't
Maybe they're doing
think
it for
getting
free.
paid.
Love of the game.
Yeah.
Just mere love of the game.
It's that one guy in
Now
Nebraska.
we go back to that XKCD comic.
Yeah, pretty much.
That guy.
That's what he does in his
that guy.
spare time.
Right. All right. Well, that was Gaming Quick Hits, and it is now time to move on to our featured review. And you may have noticed that Kent is not using his usual studio microphone this week. Once
He's using
again,
the same headset he did last week.
well, he's been testing it because of this review, right? Right, Kent?
That's correct.
And believe it or
These
not,
are
you are
the-
listening on the podcast right now to a gaming headset. It doesn't really sound like one.
No. These are the Fractal Scape. Excuse me. I'm apparently going through second puberty. These are the Fractal Scape gaming headset. Just to hit everything right off, the microphone is outstanding. I've never heard a gaming headset that has a microphone of this quality before. Completely wireless. They are Bluetooth compatible, but they generally run off of a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. And I, for the most part, really like them. They're not like an audiophile music listening headset. That's not their target audience, basically. You can, and they're better than a lot of just standard consumer headphones for that purpose. But for gaming and video content, I found them excellent. Directionality, sound clarity was really good on those. They've got 3 customizable equalizer settings. They also, this mic actually detaches, and they have a mic built into the headset as well. They are exceptionally well built. The yoke that attaches the ear cups to the headband, this is all metal, all aluminum, beautifully sculpted, one pivot point. The ear cups are a very, very soft memory foam with a microfiber fabric covering. I did find, for me personally, because I have kind of a narrow head, apparently, you can see how they sort of tilt in at the bottom here. So there's a lot of pressure for me right here. But other people I've let wear them did not have that kind of problem. They sat more evenly and had even pressure distribution around the ears. Even, one of the things I liked is they do have some of the gamer aesthetics. They've got the RGB, obviously, which is easy to turn off either via the app or with a button on the headphone. The app is browser-based. So you do all this in your browser. There's no bloatware to install. You can change your microphone settings, your RGB settings, your equalizer.
Nice.
Very simply, very easy to navigate. You just go to the website and with the headphones connected via the dongle and set them up how you want. I've been really impressed with them. My real only complaint, like I said, is the comfort for me. And the other thing that I've thought about after I actually wrote the article, and I didn't think about it before, the ear cups are not replaceable. So if you wear them out, you'd probably have to send them back to Fractal if that's even a service they would offer, is putting new ear cups on them. Now, granted, you would really have to wear the heck out of them to wear them out, wear through the microfiber fabric on them. But most headphones you'll find have a easily replaceable ear cup, or ear pad, I should say. Other than that, yeah, they're fantastic, and the price is good for wireless. The sound is fantastic for wireless. Bluetooth was not as good as 2.4 gigahertz, but man, 2.4, I noticed no latency in the sound. The clarity was fantastic. Yeah, I'm just very pleased with them, and I gave them the Silver Award.
Looking at this picture from Kent's review, he claims in the text, "Now I am not an audiophile," and I'm looking at the external DAC and amplifier. I'm looking at the JBL Studio 530 loudspeakers, which uses as near field computer monitors. Like, it just looks kind of audiophile-y to me. But
I mean, there's also another DAC amp, a little hi-fi unit that's on the desk as well in that picture.
wait, is that what's powering the JBLs?
No,
Is it an iPhone?
No,
Okay.
No, I just use it for certain headphones because I found it has the best sound profile with those particular headphones.
So the kind of person who would specifically match headphones to a dedicated amplifier is not an audiophile. Got it.
I don't live in a trailer and drive my $2,000 Honda Civic back and forth to work so that I can listen to my $50,000 speakers.
I
every
would.
day.
So I'm not an audiophile.
But you could. You could.
No, I couldn't. My wife would kill me.
Not if you get to her first. So yes, the Silver Award level, and you can read more, including the impressive specs of these and other details at PCPerspective.com. Thank you, Kent. And we're going to move immediately to our picks of the week. Josh, please get us started.
Do you guys remember back in the day, they had force feedback headphones? Wasn't it Corsair that did that?
The kicking you in the head? Along with the
it had
kick you in
little
the pants?
vibration things, and
Yeah.
when you'd get really low frequency stuff, they'd shake. I had a pair. My wife ran over the cord with her chair and just destroyed it. So anyway, high five, good story. My pick is not headphones. No, it's actually a reasonably priced Asus Prime card. Yes, you can get the 9070 XT from Asus for $719 today, which is not very far off from the low of $699 that we saw last week or the week before. Asus usually has that big old Asus tax on their stuff. That is not the case with this card. So, a pretty decent buy. The 9070 XT is one of the fastest cards in its class. Faster
And at
essentially
that
overall
discount-
than the... What's that?
And at that price, as opposed to being within $20 of a 90-7000 or an XTX, which often
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
That's a good buy.
Yeah, it is. So, go to it.
Is it safe to say that the $599 dream is dead?
Oh, it was dead before it even arrived.
So it's
Yeah.
really $699, and then
Yeah.
like you said, it's only $20 more. I almost picked this, Josh. I'm glad I didn't, because that would have screwed this whole segment.
It would have.
Jeremy, what is your
What?
pick this week?
You need another USB NVMe enclosure. They are so ridiculously handy to have, and they are very small, and not to be mistaken for. They're not for internal usage, but it's a great deal that is happening up here in Kazakhstan. And if you can find one, the Ricoh, it's Gen to USB 3.2, so 10 gigabits. It's $18. You just pop in whatever drive you need, back stuff up, and throw it somewhere and forget about it. Carry it with you in case you run into someone who's got a dead drive and you want to see if you can bring it back. They're just stupidly, ridiculously easy stuff. It's great tech support stuff to have. They're tiny. They're super fast. And, I mean, back in the day when we had to deal with, larger drives, and those enclosures were bulky, annoying, lasted about 4 or 5 plugins before the controller board snapped on them, and just sucked. These ones are great, and oh my god, the controller board snapped. I guess I'll just blow another $18 on one. Oh wait, I don't have to, because I bought an extra one because I was paying attention, and it's just sitting there. They're handy to have. It's part of the USB toolkit that you should just be carrying everywhere. And at that price, do it. Much cheaper than Brett's pick.
Just do it.
True.
Oh no, what did you pick, Brett, this week?
Well, I did pretty well, I thought. For those people who are still in the Bamboo ecosystem for a 3D printer, and I think there's a lot of people out there who stuck with them. They had some issues a little while ago where they kind of went back and forth on third-party support. I think they came down in a reasonable place with allowing people to do local attachments to their printer using third-party software if they're sort of willing to take on the print server aspect to themselves. But Bamboo kind of puts out a 3D printer that mostly just works out of the box. And if you want to be able to print in multiple color, you get their AMS system, which is their material handling system to handle up to 4 spools at once. And it sits on top of the printer. It's got mechanics in it, and it talks to the printer. Well, the problem with the version 1 is it didn't heat. It didn't dry. They came out with the version 2 that did, but you can't heat and dry while it prints. Here is an attachment for both version 2 and version 1. Replaces the lid and does drying and heating, and as an addition to your original version 1 or version 2 if you want AMS. And it allows you to heat and dry. It's just a mechanical connection. There's no electrical connection to the Bamboo system, and it works directly with the AMS systems. And I think it's really awesome. I've been doing a lot of external drying, so this is a really nice attachment for me to be able to use the AMS and dry and heat at the same time. They're not shipping yet. This is a prototype, early access. They'll be shipping in October.
$110.
Yeah, I think it goes up $10 after they sell it for the next 1,000. After that, 120 is their usual price, 119. So 109 right now.
Nice.
I have one on pre-order.
Not horrible.
Excellent. Kent, your pick this week.
So yeah, I've started noticing recently that the NVIDIA Shield TV console have started to show their age finally after 10 years. So I've been looking at alternatives, and again, always the alternative of building an HTPC comes up. And so I've been looking at trying to find something that would fit in the entertainment center under the TV on the wall. I found this pretty inexpensive in-wind case. This is a very tiny mini ITX case. There's no room for a graphics card. It's motherboard only. So you'd be using an iGPU system with it. Comes with a 200-watt gold power supply. It is FLX form factor. And it's $99. And quite small. And probably a good choice if you're looking to do something like that. You can even put a slim form factor optical drive in it.
I just noticed that.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm happy.
And there are slim Blu-ray drives. You could pop one in there.
There are.
And software support is a lot better than it was, back in the day for watching Blu-ray. I'd be very curious if you do this to hear how well it goes, how seamless the experience is, how the remote of your choice works. Unless you're okay with using a keyboard and mouse for everything, that'd be fine.
I would be if the TV would accept it, as opposed to ding, 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 ding.
That's why you put the PC in the living room.
Yeah, I've been looking at a few options on Air remotes as well. I've still not decided if that's the route I'm going to go, but I thought this case looks like a pretty good value since it has the power supply and fits in the required space that most people would want for an HTPC.
No, I just have a really long HDMI cable to the Threadripper in the kitchen, and I refuse to tell my naked upstairs neighbor that, yeah, we could actually switch to YouTube on it and you'd be able to use the keyboard. But I like the fact that you're really annoyed. You have to pretend you're doing your high score on an Atari machine.
Nice. All right. I actually have a pick this week. It is the Be Quiet Dark Base Pro 901 case, if that wasn't obvious enough from the name. And it's actually right behind me. I have just completed a build. If I can figure out how to get out of the way. Getting in the way. Just completed a build in this last night. And the thing has been running the entire time we've been podcasting. And I can't hear it. It's on a low fan setting. You have touch controls for fan speeds and stuff on the front, RGB lighting, which you can also turn off. But one of the most fascinating aspects of this design, and why I should have done a retro build in this case, I thought about it and I chose not to. There's a bracket. There's so many accessories that comes with this thing. There's 2 accessory boxes. One of them had this mysterious bracket that was kind of in the 5 1/4 inch size. Turns out it is his support
Viewer
bracket.
discretion warning. This is going to get a little spicy.
This is very spicy. There's a hidden tab here. You can pull this down. There's a 5 1/4 inch bay, people, right here.
Wow.
Now, unfortunately,
Don't call it a comeback. 5 1/4's been here for years.
It's never left.
Never left
Now,
us.
if you're like me, and Be Quiet also sent a 420 AIO, then you can't use the 5 1/4 inch bay. Because this whole front here is radiator right now. Even below here, like it's still radiator down here. So if you're using a 360 or smaller, or putting something up top, which is up to 360 up top, then you're fine. Or air cool it. You'd be able to use this. But it's nice that the option is there, and I'm sure 420 millimeter AIOs are not the most popular size, but the Dark Base Pro 901, I had no idea they were offering optical drive support in this case, or I would have built a system in this a long time ago. Some content on that coming, because I recorded most of the process of building this thing.
I am very curious about this thing.
I need to take everything out and do a retro build in it and take advantage of that optical drive.
Well, because of your mini review, they've instantly sold out. We can't get it anymore, Sebastian.
Dang, nabbit.
Sorry. Is it not available? Or are you being facetious? Maybe I waited so long to review it.
That's what Patrick Finney said, so who knows?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is like the Fractal Pop case design where you put it on the bottom. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the PC Perspective podcast. I want to thank you for listening, watching, donating to the cause. If you're one of those people who did a super chat at us while we were recording, you can tune in Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. most weeks. Probably a good 48 to 50 weeks out of the year. We'll do
Something like
live
that.
stream, something like that.
Yep.
No promises though. No, quality not guaranteed. And other disclaimers.
Thank you for consuming the content.
Yes. And thank you for subscribing to the PCPer channel. You know, it's and hitting that notification
Ring
bell.
that like and hit
Ring
that.
the like, smash that bell.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Whatever
Yes, thank
whatever
you.
this button is over here, probably press that.
Good night.
That's the power off for your server, Brett.
No, wait, soft off? Okay. Oh. One more thing. Probably the most important thing I totally forgot all about this.